Happy Friday, everyone. We are almost done with the year, and today is the last episode of 2022 of Mavens of Manufacturing. Today's episode is sponsored by Factory Fix, who is a manufacturing talent platform that combines the power of a talent network featuring over 400,000 skilled manufacturing pros and a recruiting platform built specifically for the manufacturing industry. So if you are struggling to find that skilled talent, make sure you're reaching out to them because they can help you fill some of those vacant opportunities that you have. I'm really excited today to have Danielle Schneider. She is an applications engineer at Pridgeon Clay and is on the board of directors for Women in Manufacturing Nationals, which is a great organization if you are a woman in engineering and manufacturing. So be sure to check that out as well too, and we'll talk about that later on in the episode. Hi Danielle, how are you doing?
Oh, great. Yourself today, Megan?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on board. I'm really excited. We first met in person at the Advanced Manufacturing Expo in Grand Rapids, and we were talking about that a little before we went live. And that's such a pretty city. I loved it there. It was so much fun, and it was a great event too. So, my first question to you is, who is Danielle, and how did your journey start in engineering and manufacturing?
Yep. Thank you for having me today. I know that me and you have been off on schedules for the last couple months because we've been trying to do it since October, I think.
Yeah.
But as you guys know, my name is Danny Schneider. That's how where I go. I'm an applications engineer at Pridgeon Clay, like she said. My background is in mechanical engineering and product design from Michigan Tech, and I have a business degree as well. I guess I'll start from the beginning and well, I guess PNC. We are a manufacturer of mainly car parts, exhaust,
Okay.
but we have started to diversify our product lines into fuel cell items, clamps, seating, stuff like that. You name it, we can probably stamp it. We are a stamper,
Okay.
and then we also do value add weldments as well for all of our customers.
Okay. Do you stamp the fuel cell elements too? What are
Not
you
the
doing?
elements. There's plates in between things,
Yeah.
and they're normally like a stainless steel flat plate, and then we either have there's like channels in them or holes in
Yeah.
them or perf plates, and we can stamp those individual components, and then we would ship them to wherever our customer needs them, and they would assemble them.
That's really cool. How long have you been working there for them?
9 plus years. It's been a
Okay.
while. Some days it feels like a lot. Because honestly, I didn't think end up in automotive. I was the one person from Michigan Tech that wasn't going in the automotive field. Like I said, no, I'm going to do something else. And then it just morphed 2 years after college into a great opportunity. So I ran with it.
Awesome. So what else do you do? What does a day in the life of your job look like?
I like to call it a Jill of all trades instead of a Jack of all trades, because my day, I normally try to plan my day, and then by 10 a.m. it just
Yeah.
blows up. And I have two major roles that I'm supposed to do, but then I get pulled in
Okay.
different directions. The first is to help our sales team with technical support and either redesign the part with our customers or make sure we have the right processes or equipment to bring into PNC so we can make the part properly for the customer. That's my number one job. My number
Mhm.
two job is actually to start to help our plant run more efficiently, whether it needs to be a engineering change with our customer to change the part slightly, which won't affect form, fit, or function for them, or investigating new processes like if we can speed up a weld or if we can add something to the floor layout to make it flow better for like one piece flows and stuff like that. Because we are starting to automate more at PNC. It's just driving, as probably most of you know, automation is driving forward faster than we all planned. So,
Yeah, it's definitely causing a larger gap too because we need more of those tech savvy type individuals. And, even with our current workforce, it's kind of hard, you know, catching them up with all the advancements in technology. So, with your personnel that you have now on your floor, are you like creating some sort of like training process for them to help them keep up to date with the advancements and technologies that you're bringing in, such as automation?
Yes, we are starting to. We have a bunch of different apprenticeship programs actually at PNC. We are trying, I believe. Don't correct if anybody from PNC is watching this. I don't know, but um, I am sure we will be adding an automated type apprenticeship program with robots and stuff. I know we do it for welding and CMM and all that stuff, and we keep adding more as we can move forward, but we also invest in our people. I think the human capital piece is going to be pushed forward with automation as well, and investing
Mhm.
in your workers, coworkers, and we'll send different people to different trainings so then we can upskill our labor force.
That's awesome. So, what about you personally? Like, how did you get attracted to this sector? Because, that's one of my main conversations that I have a lot, especially with women in engineering and manufacturing. Like, some of them have fell into the sector by accident. I know quite a few women who started out in interior design or some sort of fashion industry, and then they got involved with marketing, and then all of a sudden they own an engineering and manufacturing company that specializes in sheet metal, which I thought was really cool. So what was your personal journey like to get to where you wanted to go to the tech school in Michigan and pursue something in engineering?
Not gonna lie, when I was a freshman in high school, I wanted to be a fashion designer. That's what I wanted to do. And then I had to do like a report on it, and then I was like, no, never mind.
Not,
Um, and I was really good at math and science, and it was fun to me to figure out
Mhm.
things and do things. But there was a class I will always plug. It was called Design Tech, and there you could start when you're a freshman through senior. It was more like AutoCAD 2D type of stuff and architectural stuff. And I just signed up for it because you learned drafting and then you learned a CAD program on the computer, which was cool, which was way back when. But um, and I really liked that. And then, like, I think it was my sophomore year, I was like, I want to do things that move and figure out and design new things. So I was like, engineering. I think that's perfect for me. I researched it, and then I applied to all the schools,
Mhm.
and Tech just kind of fell in my lap because I didn't really hear about it before a couple of my close guy friends that were in
Okay.
high school with me, and they're like, "Oh, we're applying here too," and like, "You should too," and they 3 weeks later after applying, they're like, "Of course you can come. You're a girl." But, um, 'cause Michigan Tech, it's like 10 to 1 up there, not gonna lie. But, it's
Wow.
I duck out most days in the mechanical engineering, department. But honestly, I wouldn't change it for the world. I've met some great people up there, and I loved my career or my education that I got. It was very hands-on. Tech is a smaller school, so it can
Mhm.
be hands-on, compared to others. But like I said, I wasn't going to go in the automotive. I was gonna go into product design. I got that minor up there, and I wanted to do something fun and create something to make people's lives better, to make it easier. That's always
Yeah.
been my journey. It's still my journey of some sort. Maybe it'll change, maybe it won't. But I went into testing and certification before I started PNC slash the automotive industry for a company called Intertech.
Okay.
And I got to break things for a living, is what I told everybody.
That's
It was kind of
awesome.
cool. I still remember the interview. I walked in to the interview and I was sitting in the lobby, and there was a video playing, and the video was showing like crashing cars and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then it also showed the video of what happens to an aluminum pot that you deep fry a turkey in when you drop a turkey in it and it like explodes. That's frozen into hot oil. Of course, we all know not to do that. But
Yeah.
I was hooked after that video. I nailed the interview, and they're like, "You can come, and we'll teach you all these things." And it was super fun. I like got to break things. But Then they sent me to be a package engineering technician,
Okay.
and it was kind of a little boring because I had to design packaging to ship things overseas from the U.S. to overseas, and I
Mm-hmm.
had to develop testing to make sure the packaging would hold up. There was like crush tests and vibration tests to simulate like trucks going down the road if something was dropped on it, stuff like that. And then I went through that whole program and developed it. It was like shipping from, I don't remember. I think it was shipping from here in Grand Rapids actually to a plant in Malaysia, of all places. So it was kind of cool. It taught me a lot of different things, and it was a very large program for the company that I was contracted out to, actually. And
Mm-hmm.
then I got kinda bored with it because it was, like, the same thing over it's like watching boxes vibrate. It wasn't exciting, but, it was a good job. I was learning things, I was doing new things. I had a couple other random tests that I would run for a different product, but,
Mm-hmm.
one day, one of my friends called me, from college, and she's one of my best friends now. She's like, "Do you want my old job?" And her old job was a research and development engineer at Pridgeon Clay, and she hooked me in. It was I'm like, "Research and
That's
development?
really
Yes."
cool.
And, like, I got to design things, not really my own things, but redesign things with the customer, to make them manufacturable or to make them better for welding or make them actually perform better in their own product, so
That's really cool. I always thought like, I never, when I first entered into this sector, I never really thought about like packaging engineering or packaging design. And it's everywhere because we buy products and we get them in packages. And I recently just spoke with a company who had to deal with one of their customers because what ended up happening was there was like a miscommunication within the shipping department, and they actually shipped something to a different country. Well, they have no idea. Like they got pictures back, and it was completely rusted and deteriorated because something happened where it was sitting somewhere for a long time, and ocean water has salt in it.
yep.
And you need to protect, if you're not flying it somewhere, it's going
Yep.
by boat, and if you don't have that protective packaging, it can be really damaging to your product. So it's interesting to hear about the different things that they're coming up, especially now with like all the plastics and stuff that
Mhm.
they want to try to cut back on. Like, how can we recycle things? What's the recycle infrastructure look like? And then just research
Yeah.
and design too. You get to do a lot of
Yeah.
cool things and just breaking things. So there's a job out there that I heard of where you actually take frozen chickens and shoot them at airplane windows to test the strength of the
That's
windows.
cool.
So
That's pretty cool.
if you're interested in like breaking stuff or like testing things with different things, that might be the opportunity for you to look into. Um, I just want to shout out to the a couple comments too. Hank is here. He says hello from a junior board of directors. So he has two daughters, Aiden and Peyton, that like watching all of these types of shows. And we had Barbie the welder on here one
Cool.
time,
That's cool.
and they, as soon as the show was over, they were asking Hank, "Hey, do you have welding stuff?" So he was teaching them how to weld. So Hank, if they're interested in testing something, maybe take a frozen chicken and throw it at throw it at something, or have fun with it. And then we have Daniel. He says hello all. I just met him in person at the automation fair, so it was really cool to meet him in person. Thanks for joining us, you guys. If anybody in the audience has questions or comments too, be sure to drop them in there, because I don't want it to be just my questions. Feel free to engage with us, and Daniel will answer your questions as well too. One of the other things I wanted to talk to you about, we're both members of Women in Manufacturing, and that organization has been really helpful for me just because it's connected me with a bunch of other individuals and commonality, right?
Mhm.
And you're actually on the board, and you chair the Michigan chapter. So how did you find out about Women in Manufacturing, and what drew you to join that and become a member, and even in a leadership position, because you're one of the leaders now, and you're helping plan some of these events. And I want to understand more of why that's important for you to kind of steers some of the leadership stuff.
Yeah. So how I got involved with WIM, actually a little history on WIM itself. WIM actually stemmed from PMA, which is the Precision Metal Forming Association. And PNC is actually a very large member of Precision Metal Forming, obviously.
Okay.
And my now president of Pridgeon and Clay, he was, and his father as well, because it's a family business. Um, Chairman, his father was a chairman one year on the PMA, but WIM stemmed from that. And then, so once they stemmed from that, Kevin, our owner of PNC, he knew the president and founder, Allison, really, really well.
Mm.
And he got one of my other coworkers and one of my best friends involved with that. And then she drugged me actually to one of the summits without being a member, and she dragged me to that summit, and then it's like I found my people when I got
Yeah.
there. It's like you connect with all these women and men, because there's men there too, that just they get it. They know what you're going through, or they have great ideas for you to work into your own life or career or job. Excuse me, job. And like I just connected with so many people that very first time that it just became a really big passion of mine. And then when I came back, of course, signed up for a membership. And then PNC actually is now a corporate sponsor or a corporate member. So our company is a member of WIM, and it was really important actually for my company, and Kevin, he's like, we need a chapter, because it was just Michigan and now it's Western Michigan and Southeast Michigan. He's like,
Okay.
we need a chapter in West Michigan. We have so much more to offer over here besides automotive, because there's seating with like Hayworth and Herman Miller and Knoll. We have a lot of food manufacturing over here, paint with Sherwin-Williams. Like, there's so much
Hmm.
in West Michigan that we do that isn't automotive. So it was just something that my company decided said, you need to go do this, and I was like, I'm on it because I love it. um, but that was that 5 years ago. So and then I got involved, and we got a chapter going here in West Michigan. And I have a fabulous board here in West Michigan. We are 12 strong. Two are retiring this month, actually. So we will be looking for new board members in the West Michigan area, by the way, but in January. But I got involved with the board and here locally, and we've gotten this up and running and got it through COVID, thank God. And then I got an email looking for a call for directors for the national board. And I didn't feel like I should apply yet. Like, I know that's something that I wanted to do later in
Hmm.
my career, but one of my friends like, she's like, "Why are you waiting?" Like, women tend to wait on things a lot.
Yeah.
But she's like, "Why are you waiting? If you don't sign up, I'm gonna sign you up. Like, I'm just going to sign your application and send it in with a reference or whatever." And I'm like, "Okay." So I signed up, and I was like, "Well, you know what? We're a small company," and because I knew people, I kind of knew people on the board, and they were from really big companies like Magna and Amazon, and um, all of them were quite large. And I'm like, "You know what? I'll sign up this one time. I probably won't get it, blah, blah, blah." And then 2
Hmm.
months later, they're like, "Oh, we picked you." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." Like, and it was like they were replacing 6 people on the board, and there was
Hmm.
8 applicants, and, I was like, I wondered for a year why they picked me. And last year, I got enough courage to ask the question of, like, "Why would you pick me? Like, I am from a small company. I'm not a I'm an engineer. I'm not a director at my level. I'm not a manager. I'm not a VP," you know? They're like,
It's
"But
that damn imposter syndrome.
yeah, exactly." Like, and I'm like, I'm impressed by all these women on the board and all that they do, but I do love my engineering, not gonna lie. But
Hmm.
and they're like, we need people like you, because that's what manufacturing is actually all about. And
Yeah.
that's what we need to attract more people to our organization as well. And they're like, what you do to attract people in your own area to WIM, we want to do it on a national level as well. So um, yeah, they picked me. My last term is for fiscal year 2024. I can renew one more time, which I will, and hopefully they pick me again. But no, it's been a great 2 years with them on the national level. And I love helping them organize, plan, and share
Hmm.
this wonderful organization with everybody. So
So you said you could reapply. How many term? So it's 2 year terms. How many
it's
terms
three.
can you apply?
It's a 3-year term, and you
Oh, 3 year
can
term.
renew once.
Okay.
Or
That's
if
really cool though.
yeah.
I like that. And I think you brought up a valid feeling that a lot of us feel in this sector. We am I good enough, and am I knowledgeable enough, and is what I have to offer important? And that's what we need more of in this sector if we want to start closing the skills gap. We have to have people from all over, showing them their faces, having conversations at the same table so that we can start closing the skills gap. So I'm glad that they were like, yeah, stop being ridiculous. We're going to apply for you. You're going to be part of this conversation, whether you like it or not. So I like that you had those people supporting you. We have a couple other comments. You said you have a question. Just drop it in. You don't have to raise your hand here. Just drop it in, and we'll ask the question. And I'm in automotive in GR in West Michigan. That's awesome. We love our automotive. So in terms of like, you getting started out, I like to always show appreciation for the people that encourage me to get step outside of my comfort zone. Who are some of your main, mentors and inspirations? Because I feel like we need more mentors in manufacturing and engineering, especially with the younger generations, because they don't quite know what's available or what the possibilities are within this sector. So, who are some of the people that really help guide you and encourage you to keep doing this path of yours?
Yep. Um, First foremost would probably be my college best friend, Stacy Broom. She is the one that actually called me the one day and said, "Hey, do you want my old job?" And
Mhm.
then she pushes me every day. To be. She's like, "You have a voice, use it. Like, just go do what you do, and don't take no for an answer." So she encourages me that way. And then I would say my mentor, like in life, or not in life, but is actually one of my male coworkers. His name's John Ruckers, and when I walked into PNC, I knew nothing about stamping, absolutely nothing. And there was a very large project coming down the pipeline, and they're like, "You'll be perfect for this." And I'm like, "I know nothing," but he kind of took me under his wing, and because whatever I would do, I was in prototype and figuring things out for the customer, and then we launch it into production. And he was on the production side, so he needed to learn whatever I could for things. And he just taught me about stamping, the tools that we make. And he also challenges me every day. And he will hear me out most days with my crazy ideas and what we could do to make things better.
Mhm.
And he's never like, because I am a woman or whatever, he's never let that um I feel be an issue. Or
Yeah,
like, and he'll actually, like, if we're in a room and I will be saying something and nobody listening, he will actually stand up for me and be like, that's exact. Or if somebody else will say it, he'll be like, "No, Danny just said that. Like, we need to regroup here, like, and like calm down and like listen to people." So I,
that's cool.
yeah.
That's
So
really cool.
those two, some days it's crazy between the three of us and figuring things out, but because we all have different ideas, but normally we all agree and compromise and get together and make things work for our company. So um
Yeah,
I think
that's
I'm
really cool.
very privileged to work with the people that I do. So it's kind of fun most days.
I like the collaboration too that this sector offers. We have Courtney too. She's like, I'm literally joining WIM right now. Are there any
Yeah.
active promos or promo codes right now? I can't answer that question. Um,
Um, where are you, Courtney?
I think she's in California,
Oh, okay. There
right?
is.
Courtney, I shouldn't answer for you.
California is just starting their chapters. There is one in quote unquote Los Angeles, but we're changing their name to Southern California. And they just got started this past year. So you'd probably be signing up for like an individual membership. There isn't really a promo, I don't think. Normally, it's $135 for a year. I don't think we have any promos right now though. So,
Which
but
is actually
worth
a
it.
it's actually a really good price too, considering all of the stuff that they have. So I've been a member for the last two or like I think this is my third year that I'm a member of it. And there's so many. I'm in between Wisconsin and Illinois, so I try to attend both events at both chapter. I think there's two chapters in
There is
Wisconsin.
going to be in 23.
That
There's going to be
that's
in
right.
northern Wisconsin and then like central southern and then there's only one in Illinois.
Yeah, and I know you have to pay for some of those events as well too, but it's completely worth it because if you're brand new to the sector, it's a great way to meet new people and network. And they have really fantastic speakers that come in, especially from local manufacturers in your area. And I wanted to touch on that too, since you're part of the leadership. You know, maybe you can share some of the goals that WIM has for the upcoming year. Like, what sort of trends are you seeing that need to be addressed within engineering and manufacturing, and how is WIM not just helping the sector as a whole, but why should companies think about becoming a member or a corporate member of WIM? Like, what sort of benefits do they get
Yep.
doing that? Because it's not just about, yeah, we need more women in the sector. There's actually like really good talking points that you engage with becoming a member of WIM. Like
Yep.
it's everything happening in the sector.
Yep. So a couple things that WIM does on a national level. We have virtual learning series once a month. They're live. They're normally on a Wednesday afternoon, but then all of those learning series go into our virtual learning library. And I think there's over 200 hours worth of different topics of different things that you can scroll through and watch. Replay if you don't catch it live, and that's included in your membership as well. Um, as a member, you normally get preferred pricing for different things for local level and at national level. A discounted price for different things. Normally, they're at cost for whatever what event we are throwing. Members get for like our West Michigan area just did our holiday party, and we did everything at cost for our members, and then just charged a little bit extra for non-members, but I think everybody that was there was a member, not gonna lie. But and also on a national level, I feel WIM does a really good job of um, they have 3 different we have an education foundation as well,
Hmm.
and that education foundation offers 3 classes, 1 for leadership, 1 for management, and my new favorite actually is called Empowering Women in Production, and it's actually they want women from the floor to come to this class, and all the classes are virtual. There is a cost, but all the classes are virtual. This particular one lady at Pridgeon Clay is actually going through it right now, and it's a 20-week class. It's like an hour and a half a week, dedicated to this time, just to showing women what other opportunities there's out there. Like if you
That's
want to go
really
into management, or you want to have a life coach, or different things each week. And then also sprinkled in there is different speakers as well, presenting on different topics and how to know your worth, or how to negotiate, or stuff like that to teach them on the floor. Because if a lot of people on the floor, they don't know what's available to them. There's
yeah.
so much out there. Um, that I think this new class, we actually just started that class this past year. And I think they just started another one the 1st of December, but there was 3 cohorts, and I think there was like 300 people that were sent from the actual floor to go to this class. Granted, it is all online. It's only an hour a week, but I've heard nothing but good things. The woman that just started in December from my company, um, is loving it. Like she's like, this is so awesome. Like, and you also in your cohorts or whatever, you meet other people from different locations. And I think connections is what drives
Yeah.
people forward. So, um,
Now, is your company reimbursing your employees who are taking this class, or is
yes.
it something that's, and
Yep.
see, I think that's really cool too. So if you do have a corporate membership, you have the opportunity to pitch that. And then
Yep.
you brought up negotiation skills, which I think everyone can use a little extra help in because I'm
Yep.
terrible at it. So that I think that's really cool. Erica said that she just joined this week. So yay, that's awesome. Good job. And then we have Taylor Smith. I'm on the board of WIM Western Pennsylvania, and I love the relationships I have gained through chapter events. I think it's such a cool. I have yet to go to a WIM summit. It just hasn't
Lined
aligned
up.
right with my schedule. And one of the other things that I hope that I can do next year is the virtual mom in manufacturing
Yes.
event that you have. I think I haven't attended that one yet, and I know that's fairly brand new.
Yep.
Because they did they start that last year or was it the
Um,
year
it was
before?
it was the year before. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a one-day conference, all virtual. It's called Moms in Manufacturing. And it's like how to balance your life with your kids and your work and how to drive your stuff forward without feeling guilty for
Yeah.
things and all different type of things. I'm not a mom yet, but I have helped send speakers that way. I haven't gone to the actual conference, but all the women that I know that have gone to the conference have loved it. Like,
Yeah. That's on
and
my list to do
it's
to attend
it's
that.
it's worth. I think it's a. I don't remember. It's like 100 and
Is
maybe
that
$25 for the conference or whatever, and it's all virtual online. And normally you get sent a swag bag too at all of our conferences, but it's definitely WIM in general is geared toward women, but it's also we are starting to do things with our allies. Like this year we've there's different conferences. It's, the one that is in Detroit actually is called WIM North. And
okay?
this year we had a speaker, a male speaker about allyship and how important it is to bring that together, not only for just women, but to reach across the table. So, and you're communicating and working together as a one team versus in manufacturing, it sometimes is the good old boys club, but
Yeah.
and trying to break that wall down is what we're trying
Well,
to do with that.
I had a conversation surrounding that too, because I think, some of these conversations can get a little heated or uncomfortable, and I've always been confused as to why that is. And I did a podcast with the fabricator, and I brought up that, when I first started Mavens, a lot of guys were just like, "Man, not another women thing that's going to bash us and try to kick us out of the sector." And I'm like, that was not my intention at all. Like,
No.
I want women to make connections with the men who are in the sector because they have great knowledge, and we need that support, we need that mentorship, we need to have those same experiences and learn from each other.
Yeah.
But it can get a little awkward, and I think that does stem from, because it is so male dominated and it has been like that for so many years, when we get in the room together, and not no offense to engineers, but some of them are a little socially awkward, and you get a woman involved, they're just like freeze up, like, what was that character's name on the Big Bang Theory? And he could only talk to women
Oh,
if he drank alcohol. But how can we get comfortable enough where we can have these conversations and not come off as awkward or offensive? And that's all that I'm
I
trying to
know.
make conversations easier. It's not, so I think it's good that we have those types of talks and presentations, because sometimes it can just be so small and
Yep.
deemed really ridiculous. So I think that's awesome. Um, so speaking of that, the current state of manufacturing, we're struggling getting the next generation really excited about this sector. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions that surround us of it being like dirty, dark, dull, and dangerous, or you can't move up the ladder, or it's a lot of hands-on manual work. But there's a lot of advancements in technology too, where we need programmers and integrators, and not even on that side of things. Like we need people in marketing and in operations and purchasing. Like there's a lot of different opportunities. So, and from your experience working with WIM and your own company and being in Grand Rapids too, because Michigan has a really great history of manufacturing. What are some of the things that you believe companies can do differently to attract the next generation? Because their values are a little bit different from, what our values were, what the baby boomers values were. Like how can they focus on that to get them excited to join us in engineering and manufacturing?
Yep. Um, so I'm gonna answer this in twofold. Whim slash my company. We honestly we there's that gap, that retiree gap that's coming, and we're really worried about it. But on the local level here, in West Michigan, for WIM, we've actually added a community engagement chair, to get us opportunities, to talk to kids and middle schoolers and high schoolers about manufacturing. Actually, this past summer, we partnered with Grand Valley State University and the MySTEM network, and we helped them. Mainly, we just volunteers and plug and play people in different companies as well. We put on a week long manufacturing camp, for middle schoolers, because I think you need to get them before high school.
Yeah.
um, and it was a week long camp where we got to bring them to different. They came to PNC. They went to a place called JR Automation, and they also went to a place called DeWise Manufacturing. And they also had a project for the week and saw what it was all about actually now in manufacturing. And it's not dark, dingy, dirty, like you said, and dangerous. And I also think too, the second part of that is we need to change the mindset of the parents of,
Yeah.
hey, you need to go to college. Like that's it, you're done. Like you're just gonna go to college. College isn't for everybody. College was for me. I have seven brothers and sisters. Only three of us went to college, and that was fine with my parents. Like do what you love to do, because if you don't love it, you're not going to be happy in life. Um, but I think that's another thing that needs to be reintroduced to parents as well, is the other opportunities that are out there to like earn while you learn, or apprenticeship programs, or journeyman cards for tool and die. Like there's all these things out there that they have the opportunity to go into, and not just college. Not bashing college whatsoever. I went, I loved it. It was definitely for me because I was a nerdy kid. I still am. But you need to open their eyes to a little more things. And I feel like I'm in that generation right now of those parents that need starting to get it and starting to realize and show their kids all of the opportunities out there. And without those opportunities, we're not going to fill. I'm afraid that we will start to, you know, um, have less and less labor force that is like a skilled. But on the flip side, that's where all the automation comes in. And then you're also then upskilling your aging workforce, to learn new things. And I know that's a difficult topic as well, but to change somebody's mindset, I know is going to be, I feel, the driving force for a lot of different things actually. And I know it's going to be the challenge, but
Hmm.
I'm up for it. And just talking to like you and things like this, and spreading the opportunities wherever you can, I think is where it's going to be.
Yeah. Is your company doing anything in particular? So like that's the other thing. I think there's a lot of focus on the next generation, which yeah, there's we're gonna do that automatically because we need to
Yeah.
start getting more of the workforce in here. But I think the current workforce can get forgotten a little bit by some
Mhm.
companies. Because, especially with the baby boomers, but we have to remember that they have that basic knowledge
Yeah.
with how things are at the basic level, and we still need that because I feel like you can't really troubleshoot things well if you don't have the basic knowledge of how they're built and created. So like with CNC machining, you can either be the actual CNC machinist or you could be a button pusher.
Mhm.
But if you're the button pusher and something goes wrong on the machine, if you don't have that basic knowledge, you're going to have a really hard time figuring
Mhm.
it out on your own. And that's more machine downtime, which you lose money on.
Cost you money.
Yeah. So, are you doing anything in terms of like, I don't know if you're familiar with the term reverse mentorship, but that's been something that I've been reading up on where, like, I was talking to Ali G about this in terms of like women mentoring men. So, not men just mentoring women, but women also mentoring men. But then in terms of the generations, not the older generation mentoring the younger ones, but flipping it around and the younger generations mentoring the older ones because the younger ones are more tech savvy.
Yep.
Um, my kids, especially, and this is probably me saying I'm a bad parent, but my kids know how to work an iPad and connect it to the TV, and I didn't teach them that. They learned it on their own.
Yeah.
So having them teach the older generations, look, this is how you do the technology. Are you doing anything like that in terms of having each generation teach each other, or is that something?
We currently are not at Pridgeon Clay. I do have a bunch of new ideas, actually based off of um, WIM Summit this year. It like inspired me to like put a bunch of ideas down on paper,
Mhm.
because I think the word succession planning gets brought up a lot, but
Yeah,
I think we need to succession plan um, up as we go, and we need to succession plan down. It's kind of like the
interesting.
mentoring in reverse. It's kind of weird because like you want to succession plan from your top level down or whatever, but
Yeah,
you also like if I move up to that next level, I need someone to take my position, and
right.
you need to come from the bottom up as well. So it's like kind of career
Yeah,
pathing. We do career paths at PNC, but I think they're going to need to evolve a little bit into something different so they can see where they could go, or they could take a different path. And just getting that information out there in front of people
yeah.
um, is what I feel. And then also, like, I feel what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, crap. Sorry. Um,
No, you're okay.
if I don't share my experiences and my knowledge with more people, it's going to go. And I think that's another hurdle that we have to get over with the older generation because they feel that somebody's after their job. That's a
Yeah,
big thing. I feel I'm not after your job because I want you to succeed. I want to share my knowledge with somebody else because I want them to take my job so then I can move and do something different.
yeah,
Um, and I think that's the mentality that I think we have to break down. Is I'm not out to get your job. I want to learn your
yeah.
job so then you can do your next job, or you can climb that ladder if you want to.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a really good point. I think that's a really good way to think about it. While we're on this topic, Dan was asking, how do you recommend someone to get in a position to where they can mentor or coach someone in the next generation? I think that's a good question because not everybody wants to be a mentor, but those who do might not necessarily know how to get themselves in that position. Do you have any recommendations for that or?
I this is something especially like in autumn or in manufacturing and engineering, get involved, volunteer at local schools, high schools and middle schools, for like the science olympiad, because that's where a lot of those kids are going to come from, because they're doing cool like mousetrap cars and different projects. Just volunteer like a couple hours on a Saturday, go see a robotics competition, or judge a robotics competition,
Yeah,
um, and getting involved on your local community level. I feel is where we're gonna, because kids they just like to talk to you, and then you
yeah,
can work up to mentoring like coworkers or the younger generation in your workforce. Um, I think starting with kids is the easiest part because they just want to learn and they want to talk to you and they want to know everything. And they want to the future's bright, honestly. I
yeah,
realized that getting involved with the kids at the camp this summer, like they're just they're fabulous in bright individuals, and they want to change things and they want to do things, and they're so creative. And I think that's where I've started in volunteering for more things at schools. And then now I feel more comfortable talking to somebody that's 10 years younger than me at work, and they just started at PNC. And like, I just, I guess I like to befriend a lot of people, and I'm like, "Oh, come with me and learn this," or "Hey,
Yeah,
let's explore and we'll figure this out together." Like, and just be open and honest with people as well. That's, I guess.
that that's what we need more of. So I went to Minnesota for a career fair type thing at one of their technical schools, and one of my friends, his name is Devin Russell. He's a super good dude. He works for a company, and he actually went and asked them if he could donate some of his time during the week to go visit the school and actually engage with the kids in the VOTEC programs. So he knows a lot about CNC machining. And when I went and visited there, he actually gave me a tour of the machining shop there at the high school and stuff, some of the stuff that they're doing on CAD design. And I was talking to the VOTEC teacher himself, and he was like, yeah, a long time ago, back in our prime, we used to have 12 teachers here for this type of stuff. Now we only have like, I think he said like three or four. And he was like, so it's a lot of work for us. And he's like, so if we can get more volunteers like Devin, especially from different companies, he was
Yeah.
like, not only are they getting my experience, he's like, but they're actually getting someone else's experience that is in the actual workforce, and they can actually teach what they're actually doing in the workforce. Because he's like, I've always been a teacher, I've never been in a company as a manufacturer and engineer. So I think that's, Dan, if you want to maybe see if you can actually volunteer some of your time to go teach a class, because that's another thing we're in desperate need of, is more teachers for programs like this. So well, this has been awesome, Danielle. Thank you so much for joining me on Mavens today. Before I let you go, though, if you had one ask for our audience, or final thoughts that you would want to provide, what would that be for you?
Um, I'm kind of gonna think this as like, what advice would I give myself? Um, I would say just keep swimming out there, and also invest in yourself. And if you're
Yes,
doing a good job yourself, and nobody's like hyping you up, hype yourself up as well. Like, if you know you did a good job, be like, I did a good job. I can do this, and then move to the next level. And then also, um, because I'm at that point in my career trying to figure out the next step and stuff. But be a leader, not a manager. Because I know
there is a
everybody,
difference.
that's the title, but it's easier for people to follow a leader than it is for them to follow a manager. And invest not only in yourself, but if you're on a team, be honestly open with them, and listen to your team as well, because without people genuinely caring about the people around them, um, manufacturing and your team isn't going to succeed without communication. And you're not going to be a great leader in life unless you or what's the word? Lead people to water. Like, I don't know how to
Yeah,
explain this, but like, and care about them and get involved in what they're doing or what they might have outside of work as well. Like, just talking to people and being honest. I know I just rambled on a bunch of words, but that's me in life, and just honestly being kind as well.
yeah. I think those are a lot of great points, though, because especially with this younger generation, Generation Z, they're very community focused, it seems like, and they're very into what's going on in their community. So if you are authentic and show that you really care, that's going to be key. And we have one final comment. Great conversation. Older generation closer to retirement are not open to sharing knowledge to not become redundant and pushed aside. Younger generation are extremely open and share everything. Bridging this is key to helping manufacturing. We need them both. Absolutely right.
Completely agree.
Well, thanks again, Danielle. I really appreciate you taking the time. If anybody has questions for you or they want to connect with you, where should they go and how do they find more information?
Yeah, definitely in LinkedIn. I'm on there. I try to be on there once a day. Message me on there. Like, that's where I also get a lot of my ideas to do different events for WIM as well, and partnering with other people to get their message and their word out. So definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. Send me a message. That's the fastest way. It's not Danny Schneider. It's Danielle Schneider. I work at PNC. I'm in the West Michigan area.
Awesome. Thanks so much to everyone that joined us and asked questions. Thank you again. This is it. This is the last show of 2022. So make sure to check me out on LinkedIn for an updated schedule for next year. In the meantime, have a wonderful and safe holiday and Happy New Year to everyone. Bye, everyone.
We know hiring quality manufacturing talent isn't always easy and that there can be a lot of moving parts. That's why Factory Fix is introducing a powerful new tool, Talent Text. No more candidate no-shows. Talent Text allows you to connect with candidates up to 5 times faster than you or even the best recruiter can. Job openings happen overnight. Candidates fall by the wayside and emails get buried and forgotten. Through 3-directional chat, Factory Fix Talent Pros help put you in the hand of a highly skilled worker within seconds. Find quality faster at factoryfix.com.